Hi guys, I'm Jay, CEO of OKEx. Here's the OKEx DeFi Roundtable, a virtual talk series to invite DeFi projects from different segments to have a chat on their current progress, insights, and future developments. Last time we invited Gordon Gao, CEO and co-founder of OKEx, to chat about how OKEx and its three tokenomics models and can be alternative consensus infrastructure in the DeFi space. This week, we have honor to have Stani Kulechov, founder and CEO of Aave, and one of the most exciting projects in the space, to talk about the innovations of crypto and DeFi lending. So, hey, Stani, can you give a brief introduction about yourself and Aave?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Jay, for having me here today. So basically, Aave is a decentralized money market protocol, which basically allows users, without giving up the custody, to basically deposit stable coins and other assets into a smart contract, money market smart contract, where they can earn interest. And after this deposit, basically these users can draw a credit line against their deposits. So that's the kind of like main functionality. As a protocol, we basically have one money market where we have different kinds of assets which can be used, but also we have the ability to create new money markets. And one of them recently we created is to be able to use Uniswap liquidity provider shares as a collateral to borrow, for example, stablecoins against. And yeah, the idea of Aave, I mean, we started to develop smart contract based financial products roughly in end of 2016, beginning of 2017. We launched first project called ETHLend, which is short form Ethereum lending. And that was the first on-chain lending protocol, and was built on Ethereum because it was basically the only blockchain with smart contracts. And kind of that is a bit different model, where it was more about peer-to-peer lending, and now we are basically having a model where the liquidity is pulled together. So that's the kind of like an interesting path we have taken and all the way to here.
Oh, very good, very good. Could you please explain the meaning of Aave? It's I heard it's related to ghost or something.
Yeah. So basically, Aave means ghost in Finnish. So from my background, basically, I'm originally from Finland. And kind of like we tried to come up with some interesting name for our project that somehow has the characteristics that what we are doing. And usually when you look traditional finance and you kind of look at the brands there, they're very conservative because basically they're taking trust on your assets, and that way they have to be conservative. But in DeFi, you're not doing that. Kind of like you're basically relying upon the smart contract that the project's built, which is actually not completely true, in the sense that not everyone can read code, and people will still always trust brands, even if it's DeFi or CeFi, right, or traditional finance. But the cool part was that we didn't have this kind of like a psychological restriction in terms of branding, and we came up with the name. And somehow we think that the protocol, as it's decentralized, it's kind of like it's like a ghost in the shadow that works, and people can build user interfaces on top of it, and it's kind of like a funny way of coming with the funny story behind the brand.
Yeah, I like this name. It's very unique. Okay, let's dive into the questions. I know you started with Etherland, one of the very first crypto lending platforms on Ethereum before Aave. And how did you experience in Etherland? With Etherland help you and your team craft the product of Aave?
Yeah, I think when we were building Etherland, basically there wasn't. It was basically the time period where DeFi wasn't called DeFi. There wasn't any stable coins on Ethereum. The only stable coin was USDT that was on Omni. So it was very early, and kind of like the model that we built was more about peer-to-peer lending. So basically the idea is the same, that the borrower comes, deposits, basically gets a collateral, deposits a collateral and can borrow, let's say, Ether, or then can deposit Ether and borrow some other assets, for example, if they want to short sell those assets. But what's interesting there is that all of these mechanics, they were like order matched. So we order matched the lenders and the borrowers and connected them with smart contracts. Now, when the idea in DeFi is more about having systemic risk in protocol. So we're basically pooling funds together. So the approach is a bit different. But I think whatever we learn during Etherland is actually showing in Aave quite well. Not just the pooling model, but also like all the experience that we work with smart contracts. It definitely shows in our current work in terms of like how optimized our smart contracts are, and that basically the technical part.
Yeah, I think definitely I see your experiences with Etherland helps the team grows and embrace the changes very fast and steer to the new direction. And I know it's a very mobile and nimble. And let's move to the next question. And it's about the flash loans. One of the unique features of Aave flash loans makes the protocol stand out from other competitors in the DeFi space. Can you share more about the flash loans and any updates recently?
Yeah, so flash loans is super interesting feature. I mean, it's kind of like relying upon the atomicity of a blockchain, and how it basically works is that since every blockchain, every block settles, and you have a certain amount of block height, actually block space to make transactions, and every transaction might have nested transaction, which means that you have one transaction with maybe 5 nested ones doing different various functions and calling different kinds of smart contract functionality in the let's say in the Ethereum ecosystem. And what actually flash loans are is that you can borrow without a collateral, and with the only condition that you need to return that borrow in the same nested transaction, actually, all the same transaction in the same block. So that means that you can borrow all the liquidity that there is, for example, in the Aave protocol. Now we have roughly 1.4 billion worth of value locked in the smart contract. So that all can be borrowed with one single transaction. And if you don't return those funds in that transaction, the borrow will fail, which basically means that typically with flash loans, you could borrow from Aave and buy an asset in one decentralized exchange and sell it in another decentralized exchange and return the loan and keep the profits. So you could do different kinds of arbitrage and other use cases. And that's the kind of like a fascinating thing. In terms of recent developments, we never expected flash loans to have this much of traction. We have seen days where we have over 100 million worth of flash loans issued, which has been pretty cool. But what I see now quite common is that flash loans are used to build different kinds of functionality, basically on top of Aave and in the DeFi ecosystem. And there's one project that's named Furu Combo, which basically allows you to do no code flash loans as well. So it's kind of built to be a developer tool, and that the end user will actually use by using the developer's product. But end of the day, you can also do yourself a flash loan and try the functionality, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I see. How does from other, like I know some other DeFi projects also have flash loans, and what makes I think in this question I asked before is what stands out from other competitors. Do you see unique features of this? You mentioned that you can basically do a loan, flash loan on the total liquidity. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot of fun. And what does what qualify the loaner to do this? Is there any metric system or something like to qualify it? And this is some kind of rules, or it's all of course it's all in the smart contract.
Yeah, all in the smart contract. And basically, so what's interesting about our flash loans and differentiator is the vast amount of liquidity you can flash borrow. So basically, there is what's interesting about Aave in general in terms of like different assets that we are listing. We have like quite diverse set of assets that you could use as a collateral, and all of those assets could be flash borrowed, and that makes it interesting because there's so many choices. And secondly, like the deep depth of the flash borrow liquidity is quite a lot. So that's kind of interesting. And what I love about our system is that whenever someone flash borrows to do some kind of functionality on in DeFi, basically there is a reward that the flash borrower pays to the protocol, and it goes directly to the depositors. So every time in every block where there's a flash loan, it will be kind of like a interest rate spike for the depositors in their earnings. And this is super amazing because it's kind of like flash borrowers are using their liquidity and rewarding them. And this is like very interesting because it increases those yields on Aave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, uh, that's very good. It's very interesting. And next, we're gonna ask you about the credit delegation, and diversify later experimented with the Aave's credit delegation by drawing a credit line from a credit delegation bot. And how will this move allow the unlocking of the liquidity across DeFi within the protocol without the need of a collateral?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I would say like when we are looking at the lending protocols that we have in DeFi, usually maybe 1/4 of the capital is utilized, borrowed from the system. And there's two reasons for that, because the system is always over collateralized. So basically, you have more collaterals than the funds are borrowed. And secondly is that which is good, it keeps the system healthy. And secondly, if usually like more people are interested in depositing funds and earning instead of actually borrowing funds. So what we notice is that we have 75 something percent funds locked in the smart contracts, basically, which could be utilized by someone. So what we created a functionality called credit delegation, which basically means if you deposit into Aave, you can actually delegate your credit line to someone you trust or to a smart contract which has predefined functions to do something in DeFi. And what this means is that the depositor has an opportunity to earn more interest, and the person that gets the credit delegation basically can borrow without the collateral from the system. And for the system, this basically means that the utilization ratio is higher, which means more efficient capital usage. And this is like the interesting part of the credit delegation functionality.
Oh, that's very. I like the idea, and it's basically. I think it transforms I think, well, I should put it this way. Basically, take the traditional financial markets product and morph into the on-chain, and it's this very unique idea. I definitely love it, and
It's
and
interesting because you could, it's kind of a way to source liquidity from DeFi, because DeFi has been quite a long time about locking value into smart contracts.
Mhm.
And Aave has been always about like how we can like unlock that value, like how we can, like whatever we're locking, how we can get it out again and reutilize. And this is a way of sourcing the liquidity out of DeFi into and out of Aave into other places. For example, you could delegate loans to lenders and borrowers, market makers in CeFi, or for example, delegate credit to traditional financial players, for example, money lenders. They could borrow stable coins, convert them to dollars, and further lend to their users. So it's kind of like a tool to source liquidity in different kind of like parts of finance.
Yeah, yeah. I also heard you guys recently just get acquired this obtained this lending license in UK. It,
We basically we receive electronic money license. So the idea of that is kind of like as the Aave protocol is decentralized, but what we want to do is that we want to create access points into the decentralized protocols and help people to go from the fiat currency into the let's say like crypto native currency, which is stable coins in this case, for example, and being able from that part basically deposit into the Aave protocol. So it's kind of like a part of our goal to increase the adoption into the mainstream and bring fintech and decentralized technologies and everything like closer together over the years.
Oh, that's yeah, I like it. The license is very important, and that's why I see the is that the why I see the fiat gateway on the website, and would you be using some other fiat gateways from third party?
Well, currently we are using now, I think there's two gateways that we're using. So basically what it allows to do is to go from with a wire transfer or so-called IBAN, I think it was IBAN transfer as well in Europe, and from credit cards into basically deposits into Aave. But what's interesting is that actually to deposit into Aave, you basically you don't need to actually always to deposit. You could actually just buy A tokens. So when you deposit into Aave, let's say 100 USDT, you get in return 100 AUSDT, and this AUSDT is interest bearing USDT, which basically algorithmically will grow in your balance, and that's basically a way, because of it's one-on-one with what you deposit there. So it's a way you can actually see how your balance grows. But it also means that you can go to any market where these A tokens are traded and just buy them, and then you have basically permissionless access into a global savings account. And this is like a very cool thing, actually, and especially in countries where there is high inflation. So if you have a gateway of going from fiat to A tokens, that's basically all you need.
Yeah, that's yeah, I like it. This is very unique features, and a lot of other DeFi projects they just don't have this. Um, and let's move on to the next question. It's very exciting. The next topic is question is about Aave V2. So it's a next version. So, and I heard it's coming soon. And is it besides the transaction fee optimization and other features, V2 will collaborate with the real estate tokenization firm, RealT, and open private markets to support tokenized assets of all kinds. And what is the reason behind this move? And how do you evaluate the role of the real world assets in DeFi?
Yeah, this is an interesting question, because like like definitely like I'm a firm believer in the idea of kind of like tokenization of things, that we will have more and more assets tokenized, meaning, for example, that we are taking value from real life and basically put it on the chain and making it available and permissionless for everyone to use in terms of building and using this value, or just trading the value, or using it as a collateral. And as Aave is basically a lending protocol, our goal is to utilize this real world asset as a collateral and basically unleash that liquidity out of it. So what we are doing with basically Realty is our goal is to use those tokenized properties and as a collateral in Aave, in a separate money market with separate risk parameters and adjustments, and the idea is that whoever is owning those, and by owning I mean holding those tokens of those properties, can actually borrow against them. They can borrow stable coins, for example, and this allows basically to take equity out of your real world asset holdings. And I think we'll see like kind of like more direction towards this area, because like I mean, we have tokenized the most important things in the blockchain space. For example, dollars. We have so many like now tokenized dollars, and it's quite wide. I think it's just a natural step to go like forward and tokenize things that we haven't yet kind of like been doing.
Okay. So you will be also doing like a token for the stock, like Apple or Tesla. Do you have that in the near future on your plan, on the roadmap?
You mean tokenization of shares, right? Or
Asset for the some major stock, top performing stock, like the which holds the like Nasdaq and Dow Jones or something. Yeah, like Amazon.
Yeah, we don't, the basic tokenization of shares, we don't have that much interest, but what we would like to see in tokenization is actually like infrastructure, basically warehouse inventories, basically invoices tokenized. So all this kind of like financial part in terms of like, and even like hard assets. I would love to tokenize Tesla cars and that kind of a value, and use that as a kind of like a collateral in Aave. So I think for me the more fascinating part is the real value, kind of like hard value tokenization. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And do you have any plans to do a public chain yourself, and instead of based on the Ethereum down the road?
We basically, if you mean like you mean like a public chain in terms of like layer 2, or
yes, right, that's right.
yeah,
like
we yeah.
Malala and some other famous chain and the public chain, and they basically improve the transaction TPS and a lot of low gas fees and all that. So is this on your roadmap or?
Well, one of the things that we are like kind of our challenges usually is the gas costs, and definitely like what these projects are trying to solve. Our one of the things how we solve the gas costs is with the version 2 by optimizing a lot of parts of the code, and we were able to reduce half of the gas. But for like a long-term solution or mid-term solution, we're trying to think different kinds of options, like interoperability wise, and also layer 2 solutions, how we could reduce the gas cost of the users. The good thing about Aave is that it actually, you don't need that much of functionality, because to deposit into Aave, it's just one function, or actually two when you approve the token. But for example, depositing Ethereum is just one transaction, and basically you're earning. and then the other transaction might be withdraw. So you might do in your Aave lifetime only 2 transactions, and maybe like 6-12 months apart from the first and the second one. So in that sense, kind of like we're in the safe side comparing like, for example, decentralized exchanges. And but still, we want to embrace the technology that people are building and solutions that they're using, and we want to explore if there's any value added for us to have some sort of like a layer 2 solution.
Okay. So so it's basically you're saying that the transaction, it's not computational intensified at the so basically it's a simple operations.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay, here's the next question. What do you hope the centralized players like OKEx can do more to facilitate the DeFi space?
Yeah, I think what I see, like, I think there's like a lot of opportunity for centralized market participants to explore DeFi. I would like to see like basically deposit staking into DeFi and protocols like Aave, and basically allowing users to earn interest on decentralized fashion. And I definitely see like decentralized technology being kind of the hubs that everyone can participate. And I see that that's a good opportunity for centralized exchanges as well to participate. So definitely, I'm very bullish that that could be like that centralized exchanges could be a very big part of DeFi, and that's and very important infrastructure in terms of onboarding users.
Yeah, that's right. And OKEx is looking forward to collaborate with you guys and Aave and other projects at the same time, and also OKEx is launching their own public chain, OK chain, very soon.
Right.
Yeah. So I think I do see a lot of collaboration down the road, and it would be fantastic. And so what is the plan for Aave for the rest of the year? And any projections for the development of the DeFi market in the coming month?
Yeah, for us, we have now basically we're shipping our version 2, which is kind of interesting because it has very cool functionality and a lot of optimization. Yeah. And we're also now basically transforming our basically governance model into token-based governance. So that means that every token holder is governing the Aave protocol, making those risk decisions that the protocol has to bear, and they're bearing the risk of the protocol because the Aave token holders can stake into a staking facility and to provide security for the depositors. And I think like in a long run, now, well, in the short term, we're doing basically this particular changes, and then we have version 2. But still, after version 2, I think we have like a lot of things to build and a lot of stuff. Our kind of like a roadmap is quite intensive, but it's good because we love to build, and it's the best time to build now. I mean, there's so many cool things that we can build.
Yeah, I think as the way you roll out the new features and all that, it's very fast. It's very fast, very quick pace, and I really wish you guys have a very good success in the. I do see you guys will succeed in the future, and here comes the last question. The final question is. Suggest one word to describe the future of DeFi, and why.
Yeah, I would say maybe, if you think about like one word, I would say permissionless, and not just permissionless, kind of like ability to use DeFi, but permissionless in the sense that anyone can build on DeFi. We always think about like DeFi is that everyone can access it, but it's actually even more interesting that everyone can build anything out of it. So anyone, any part of the world can just basically create some interesting DeFi money Legos by just using different protocols, like let's say Aave and something else, and then just building their own protocol on top of that, and kind of like remove traditional inefficiencies. So I really love this idea that basically everyone is allowed to participate, to build things and access things, and I think that's what DeFi is the most biggest value proposition for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. It's all about the financial inclusion and the mass adoption, and so people can have access to the traditional banking services. They could not get it, and then they can get it from here and from blockchain and from DeFi space. And okay, that was the last question. Let me wrap up a little bit on the recap on what we discussed in this session. And we talk about the Stani builds up the company from started with the Etherland and morphing into the Aave, and they gain a lot of tremendous experiences from doing that, and they're rolling out the features very fast, and like every other week or something, very fast, very impressive. And they're doing the lending and the real estate, real world assets tokenization, and they have the Aave V2 is coming out, and I see a great future for Aave, and I'm looking for more collaboration between OKEx and Aave, and I will wish you the best of luck. And Stani, do you have any questions for me?
No, I think personally I had a lot of fun, and basically it's interesting times in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. I think we're getting more and more closer to adoption, and it's interesting to see like what kind of innovation we see in DeFi and overall in blockchain. So, and I'm really happy, and I'm a big user of OKEx. So this was very pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's yeah, same likewise, and it's our honor to have you here. I thank you for joining us, and I'm looking for the next time, and we have a more in-depth discussion on your future products, and yeah, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.